The Central Plains dynasties were based on Confucianism and respected Taoism. The northern wilderness demons and barbarian tigers gaze upon the Central Plains. Buddhism and witches run rampant in the western regions. Moreover, Western Chu was eager to stir up. The power in southern Xinjiang is chaotic, and the demonic cult dominates. The East China Sea tribe competes, and the shark is the king. Taoist immortal Yuan retreated, the wine sword fairy Li Tai Baijiu entered Haochang, the sword roared through Zhozhou, and the national teacher Ji Xiao cut off Tian Shan mountain with a sword. The Buddha sat steadily on the spiritual mountain and recited Buddhist scriptures, while the demonic saints watched the moon in the cave and understood the Tao. Outside the city of Emperor Wu, each sword god wielded a sword, blocking a force of 600,000 soldiers from the north. Li Noa, with the courtesy name Xian, was a high school top scorer but was demoted to prison and given the nickname, Slaying Demon Man. A purgatory tower to control demons, and a capital to compile books and brush treasures. Accidentally stabbed a hole in the martial arts world and the court. And all of this starts from the day he got married to Qingyue, the leader of the demon cult. Keywords of the novel. Jiupin prisoner. Unexpectedly blind date with the leader of the demon cult at the beginning without a pop-up window. Jiupin prisoner. Unexpectedly blind date with the leader of the demon cult at the beginning. Download the full text. Jiupin prisoner. Unexpectedly blind date with the leader of the demon cult at the beginning. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Do you still want a wife? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Do you still want a wife? It's night. During the Dayan dynasty, heavy rain poured down the Yuzhou River. Sir, it's not easy for me to cultivate. Please spare my life. I used to have no choice, but now, I really want to be a good demon. I can become a vegetarian. I am willing to serve as a servant for you. On the shore, a beautiful woman's tearful eyes swayed quietly, charming and charming. You have the body of the white lady, but unfortunately I don't have Su Xian's big heart. A man wearing a raincoat and holding a cold knife appeared from the rain and mist, looking at the charming beauty in front of him and sighing with regret. The beauty looked up in confusion and said, "Ah, my lord, what do you mean by this?" "Oh, what I mean is, I'm good at slaying snakes, but Japanese snakes. Cough, I don't have the same hobby as Su Xian." The words were thrown to the ground. I saw a sword flash suddenly appearing in the water curtain, like thunder rushing and flashing, instantly penetrating into the demon girl's abdomen. Pitying fragrance and cherishing jade. Not existing. The beauty's stunned expression instantly froze. Shao Qing. She collapsed to the ground, her abdomen bleeding profusely, and the demon pill shattered. Under the rain, the woman quickly revealed her true form and turned out to be a cannibal white snake demon. Glancing at the corpse, the man's mind flashed with an ancient book. The golden characters flew out of the book and disappeared into the center of the snake demon's eyebrows, brushing out 2 items. The intermediate experience pill and the Meitai great technique. Experience pill, take it directly and increase your cultivation by a fraction. As for the pretty dharma, men are unable to cultivate and they don't know many women, so they use it to feed their swords. With a thought, the ancient book opened a page, golden book holder. Li Noa martial arts cultivation. Peak of 5th rank Grandmaster Confucian and Taoist cultivation. The initial state of 5th grade argumentation battle skills. Breath suppression technique, thunderbolt blade technique, power bonus in thunderstorm weather, breaking wind fist, 1000-leaf palm, shadowless foot spiritual techniques. Pointing deer as horses, paper cranes transmitting books, 1 leaf obstructing vision roots and bones. When qi penetrates the bones, reshapes the foundation of Confucianism and Taoism, Tian Zong Qi Kai, martial arts take thousands of miles in a day, treasure. Second level, excellent, embroidered spring blade, feeding 99 out of 100 times, can evolve upon reaching full value, water avoidance beads, water battle power bonus, obtained by killing the shark demon, ice heart jade, obtained by calming, concentrating, and killing a 100-year-old snow demon, 5 poison beads, soul-suppressing talisman lucky fate. Misfortune brings blessings, and there are still 7 days left. Finally, the Grandmaster has reached his peak and can be considered as having the power to protect himself. Li Noa lightly exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. On the journey of martial arts, it takes 10 years to polish one's muscles and bones alone, not to mention the 3 thresholds of external strength, internal strength, and hidden strength in between. It can be said that a 5th-grade master is enough to achieve a prestigious reputation in the martial arts world. Of course, if you want to stir up trouble in the court, you still need a lot of time. When it comes to the court, Li Noa's mind comes back with that humiliating memory a year ago. The top scorer offended the imperial concubine, was demoted to prison guard, self-destroyed the foundation of Confucianism and Taoism, died a gloomy journey back after taking over the plate. He inherited everything from the original owner of his body, but the memory of how he got drunk and offended the imperial consort at the new science banquet was unclear. It's obvious. He must have been framed. On the contrary, the original owner's temperament was as fierce as fire, and he publicly destroyed the foundation of Confucianism and Taoism to prove his innocence. This is the root of a literati. Once destroyed, they will never be able to store their literary energy in their lifetime, which is to isolate themselves from Confucianism, Taoism, and officialdom. As for the book, Jin Zhuan Gu Shu, in my mind after nearly a year of honing, he has also figured out the way. As long as you slay the demons who do evil, you can brush various rewards from the Golden Book. It is precisely with the existence of this extraordinary book that he was able to step into the realm of the 5th-grade master in just 1 year, and also gave him the confidence to return to the court and uncover the mastermind behind the scenes. Mercilessly kicking the body of the snake demon into the river, Li Noa quickly disappeared into the vast rainy night. The next day. After the rain, the sky clears, and the dawn turns white. Have you heard? The body of a snake demon was found in the Yuzhou River, with its abdomen cut open by a lightning blade and the demon pill shattered, which is unbearable. It is said to be a 6th-level incarnation realm demon. Once the demon tribe steps into this realm, they can shed their demonic features and become no different from humans. As long as the demon power is not activated, it is extremely difficult to be detected by people. This is also the confidence of the witch who dares to hide in the land of fireworks and romance. A rough man pushed his hips and said with a lewd smile, "I heard that snake demons are naturally charming, and even their skin can squeeze water out. I really want to taste the taste of that witch." My companion exclaimed repeatedly, "Sleeping trough, brother. Your taste is really unique, and I deeply admire it. Brother, are you crazy about your mother.in.law? Matchmaker Zhang De is eating bean curd jelly served with sauce at that table. She will not give you a sum of money to introduce you some tender young ladies." Ha ha ha. In the tea shop, there was a moment of laughter and joy. The daughter of the old Zhang family in Taihafang, who is only 16 or 50 taels old, can marry someone with a dowry. The question is, do you have this silver? Aunt Zhang at the side table quickly finished sucking on the bean brain, put down the bowl, and rolled her eyes in a cold air. The rough man laughed loudly and said, 50 taels. Old man Zhang is crazy about money, isn't he? With this money, I can go to the kiln for 3 years without bringing any repetition. Hey! Day and night, being a groom and changing brides, it's so satisfying, so satisfying. Vulgar. Shameless. Haha. By the way, Aunt Zhang, I heard that the Miss Qingyue introduced to Naga a few days ago has run out of content again. Listen to me, don't think about those deep ladies. Although Naga is dignified, he is just a prison guard. What's wrong with the prison guard? The prison guard also eats imperial food, so he's not much stronger than you guys who suffer. Besides, Nagor is proficient in poetry, songs, and prose. There's also a prosperous shop on the bank of the Yuzhou River. Aunt Zhang doesn't have a good airway. For the sake of Li Nua's marriage, she really broke her heart. Who said Li Nua had been kind to her before? The person who was scolded didn't care and smiled heartlessly, but Brother Nua is a different jailer. He is the 9th grade jailer personally appointed by His Majesty. In the officialdom, no official dares to promote him. Aunt Zhang choked instantly. Prisoners are officials, there is no distinction between grades. The emperor's actions are indeed too insincere. This is not an era of looking at faces, otherwise those beautiful flower heads on the Yuzhou River would be able to marry into wealthy families and become wealthy wives. People pay more attention to a person's family background. Li Nua offended the emperor with a bleak future. Who dares to marry him? But local girls are not good, foreign women may still have a chance. After all, in this year, those who leave their hometowns are all in trouble, and there is not so much attention to detail. Do you remember a few days ago when a new family moved into Taihafang next door? Although the young lady was veiled when she first arrived, her figure seemed quite agile, so she probably hasn't been betrothed yet. Thinking of this, Aunt Zhang's eyes suddenly lit up. Hey, isn't that Nagar? Flying fish costume, embroidered spring knife, really a talented person, it's just a pity. Seeing Li Nua approaching the tea shop, people shook their heads and sighed. They finally won the top spot in Yuzhou City, but never expected to end up in such a miserable situation. Flying fish clothing and embroidered spring knives are naturally bestowed by the emperor. Confucianism and Taoism are lofty, while martial artists are crude and reckless. For scholars, not wearing Confucian clothing and military attire is the humiliation of red fruit. But Li Nua was very satisfied with this outfit, dressed ostentatiously all day long, afraid that others would not know that he had abandoned literature and turned to martial arts, willingly falling into depravity. Nua Guer, do you still want a wife? Aunt Zhang walked out of the tea shop and hurriedly welcomed her. Of course, Aunt Zhang has a suitable candidate again. Listening to music on Gulen is one thing, getting married is another. How can one justify one's identity as a traveler without bowing to her several watery and spiritual Chinese cabbage? However, the first few blind dates were not very smooth, which made Li Nua quite injured. Isn't it from another town? Aunt Zhang felt a bit embarrassed and was afraid that Li Nua would turn his back. She quickly added, however, Brother Nua can rest assured. The young lady has a decent appearance and a gentle temperament, she is truly a good match. Okay. Li Nuyu said with a tone. No matter which era it is, locals who marry outsiders will always end up with dwarves, but he doesn't care. He has only 2 demands for his other half. Beautiful people. Kind-hearted. Of course, it would be even better if we could reach a level where we can only master it with one hand. Moreover, there are still 6 days left for lucky fate, how can one waste them casually? These days, blind dates have failed one after another, which may be laying the groundwork for a good future. This fortune is truly wonderful. Self-destruction of the foundation of Confucianism and Taoism was originally a dead end, and even the reappearance of Confucian sages would be difficult to crack. However, it was unexpected that with the blessing of misfortunes and blessings, the cultural energy that should have dissipated would have merged into the bone marrow, forming a unique and alternative root bone. The cultivation of Confucianism and Taoism has further advanced, reaching the realm of 5th grade argumentation. Of course, reshaping the foundation of Confucianism and Taoism is his trump card. Those who have seen this card, whether they are humans or demons, have already died. Okay, I will definitely arrange everything for Nagar and wait for my good news. Aunt Zhang left happily, her legs agile like a young man. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Dating. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Dating. The Yuzhou River in the morning appears somewhat cold. A young woman stood gracefully at the bow of the ship, her beautiful eyes gazing at her, her splendor overflowing, her graceful demeanor graceful, ethereal like a fairy. Suddenly looking back, it has been 15 years, but Jiangnan still has a spring breeze and picturesque scenery. The woman's eyes were like the clear moon, looking back and forth between the river waves and the clouds. In the distance, the Lingyin temple on the island in the center of the lake appears faintly in the clouds. The yellow-clothed maid, who had been with the sword since childhood, was puzzled as to why the sect leader felt a bit melancholy when he came to Jiangnan. The woman's name is Qingyue, the leader of the demon cult and the last princess of the former Zhou dynasty. On the mainland of Kyushu, there are numerous major spiritual systems. The demons and barbarians in the northern regions peer into the central plains, while the hidden currents of Buddhism and witchcraft surge in the western regions. The Central Plains dynasties are based on Confucianism, and swordsmen compete in the martial arts world. Among the major systems, the heavenly mechanism Tao is the most mysterious. Half a month ago, she entered the third-rank heavenly destiny realm, and her gaze swept over it, revealing various life fates. She vaguely sensed that her chance was in the city of Yuzhou under the misty reign of Jiangnan. Therefore, when the chief teacher discussed who to send to Yuzhou to save the great demons suppressed under the Purgatory Tower, and used this as an opportunity to form an alliance with the demon tribe, she made a decision and personally visited Yuzhou. Qingyue lightly opened Tan's mouth and said, "I've seen the Yuzhou River. Let's go back. You can go find the matchmaker and arrange." The maid said somewhat unwillingly, "Master. Miss, have you really made up your mind? This is your life's big deal. How could you play such a child's game? How could those ordinary people deserve you? Ordinary people. How could a man who can make himself fall in love with a grandiose, third-rank destiny master, be as simple as an ordinary person? Even if it is true." She also recognized it. "Qilua, did you hear me?" Qingyue smiled sweetly and asked. "Ah, what?" The yellow-clothed maid said in confusion. "The sound of the wind blowing willows." The gentle breeze brushed against her face and scattered a strand of hair. The woman lightly sniffed her nose and murmured, "The wind is the fate of the willows, and my fate falls on that person in this city of Yuzhou." This Zen trick made Qilua look confused. "I really can't understand my own sect leader anymore. Although he is practicing the heavenly mechanism way, how can he gradually approach Buddhism and Zen?" Mansion, prison. As soon as Li Nuo, who had been patrolling around, returned to the prison room, a prison guard walked over with a tool of torture. When he saw him, a flattering smile immediately appeared on his face. "Captain Li, the 6th layer of soul-devouring prison. Qingyue demon, the documents from the Ministry of Justice have come down. Today at noon, he was interrogated and beheaded. Please ask Captain Li to lend a hand. These are things that the brothers are filial to you." As he spoke, the prison guard placed the torture equipment on the table and stuffed 6 taels of silver into it. That's too far-fetched, isn't it? They're all our own brothers. When the time comes, I'll go deal with the Green Bull demon. Although Li Nuo said so, his hands were very honest, and he picked up the silver with ease, indicating that he had done many such things. Seeing that Li Nuo was willing to accept the money, the prison guard finally breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Thank you, Captain Li. There is a terrifying Purgatory Tower in the city of Yuzhou, which suppresses all the fierce demons and demons in the world. In the Purgatory, the aura of Yin and evil is extremely strong, which makes few prison guards like to be on duty here, especially responsible for killing these evil demons. This is not a simple physical task. One may not have succeeded in killing this demon, but instead lost his own life." Li Nuo was overjoyed to learn that there was such an excellent treasure trove of experience for him. After Mao volunteered to become the demon slayer of the Purgatory Tower, it was like the entire government of Jiangnan province was serving him alone. It was simply not too delightful. At noon, when the yang energy was at its peak, Li Nuo took the torture tool and arrived at the 6th level of the Purgatory. The soul-devouring prison. Purgatory has 7 levels, each with different punishments. Those who can be suppressed on the 6th floor, of course, are not the generation of cats and dogs. Opening the gate of the purgatory with a token, I saw a large green ox demon with a half-demon body still preserved, chained through the peepa bone and bound to an iron pillar, unable to move. Even though he has been sentenced to more than 3 years of soul devouring by 10,000 ants, the green bull demon is still shrouded in a faint blood demon aura from top to bottom. The great demon of the 4th rank devouring the peak has indeed strong vitality. If other prison guards come here, once they inhale these strong yin and evil energies, they will definitely not be able to hold on to half a pillar of incense and their 7 orifices will bleed to death. Li Nua has a golden book to protect his body, but he is not afraid of these impurities. The bull demon hoarsely said, "It's a bit interesting that a mere martial artist is not afraid of Yin Sha Qi." "Who are you?" Li Nua was too lazy to deal with the dying green bull demon. He took out his torture tool, a dagger specially crafted from various sources to tear open the flesh of the demon tribe, and approached the green bull demon step by step with an expressionless expression. "Wait. You are the demon slayer." After adjusting to the light and seeing the newcomer's attire clearly, the green bull demon felt a bit flustered. "That's right. Who is willing to die if they can live? Even if I live a bit suffocated." Flying fish clothes, embroidered spring knives, and Li Nua's name have also been thoroughly spread in purgatory. After all, when the demon pill was shattered, the painful and desperate roar echoed throughout the entire purgatory, and it could not be fake. The ox demon was not willing to be slaughtered and struggled fiercely. "The document from the Ministry of Justice has been issued, and I want to send you to meet the demon saint. Don't struggle, otherwise you will still be in pain." Li Nua held a dagger and gestured on the bull demon, which made the bull demon's 100,000 hairs explode and the soles of his feet cool, charging straight to his forehead. You. Stop it. This seat is the leader of the 4 demon generals of Daqing Mountain. You release this seat, and it will teach you the method of giant power transformation, as well as all the treasures of Daqing Mountain for you to choose from. How about that? I'm not interested in becoming a big guy. As for the baby, well, when I have time, I'll go pick it up myself. After speaking, Li Nua directly stabbed the dagger into the belly of the green bull demon, and used his chi machine to stir it vigorously. Ah. The cow demon roared in pain and had a fierce face. In an instant, the demon aura in the purgatory cell was raging, and even the demon chains made of meteorite iron had numerous cracks. The ancient compilation of the Golden Book in Li Nua's mind transformed from emptiness to reality, blocking the violent demonic aura by half a zhang. In 15 minutes, the vitality of the green bull demon has been depleted. A golden light flashed past and 2 items were brushed out. Advanced Experience Pill and Green Bull Tears. Advanced Experience Pill immediately swallowed. The effect was more than 10 times stronger than the previous white snake demon, and there were faint signs of loosening the realm shackles. Once refined, Qingyue tears can dispel illusions and illusions. Of course, this treasure is extremely rare. Only when a 5th grade or above ox demon is on the brink of death and is willing to shed tears can this effect be achieved. However, the stubborn nature of cattle is about to be slaughtered by you. How could they be willing to shed tears? So the conditions for the formation of this treasure are actually harsh. With the Golden Book, Li Nua's green bull tears were effortless. Needless to say, it immediately refined the blue bull tears. Li Nua realized that his gaze had indeed become much sharper. Next, it's time to cook the cow. The ox demon is full of treasures, including horn-making tools, leather armor-making, cow biomedicine, steak. The government will not waste it. Half an hour later, Li Nua opened the door of the purgatory and lazily stretched out. The yin and evil energy here is very strong, everyone's movements are more agile. After a while, the prison guard came with 10 people to collect the remains of the bull demon. When he saw Li Noa, he showed an excited expression and said, "Thank you very much, Captain Li. If Captain Li is tired, hurry back and rest. We'll leave this to you." "I'm really tired, so I'll leave first." Li Noa smiled and said. This is also an unspoken rule, as long as it is the person who kills the big demon, there is no need to be on duty in the afternoon. After all, killing the great demon requires a lot of energy and spirit. Back then, before Li Noa arrived, every time he killed the demon, there would be casualties. So, for these prison guards, Li Noa is simply a lucky star. Returning to the old house in Anhafang, Li Noa meditated, adjusted his breath, and consolidated his cultivation until the sunset fell on the mountain. At this moment, there was a knocking on the door outside. Li Noa opened the door and saw Aunt Zhang's wrinkled face full of a spring breeze and a smile. "Brother Noa," that girl agreed. "We will make an appointment in the elegant room on the 3rd floor of the Qingyue tea house at 3:15 a.m. tomorrow. Don't be late. Also, you need to change your clothes. Aunt Zhang, you are really decisive in your work. Please come in and take a break." Li Noa couldn't laugh or cry. Aunt Zhang grabbed Li Noa's arm and couldn't close her mouth with joy. "No need, Brother Noa, we need to seize this opportunity. That girl looks really like a fairy, and she is proficient in music, chess, calligraphy, and painting." Speaking of which, Aunt Zhang gave a mysterious smile and whispered, "Also, I have specifically seen that girl with heavenly feet." I don't know when it started, but it's hard for Li Noa to accept that foot binding became popular as a form of beauty. Okay, it's my turn to take a break tomorrow. I will do my best and try my best to win her over. Li Noa awkwardly smiled. A few times ago, I didn't see Aunt Zhang so excited. The next day. The sky is beautiful, and the spring breeze is warm. At the entrance of Qingyue tea house, a carriage slowly stopped. The curtain was lifted, and a round-faced girl in a yellow shirt helped a woman in a white dress out of the carriage. "Miss Yi, you're here. Yejian is on the 3rd floor, and I'll take you up." Aunt Zhang, who had been waiting for a long time, immediately greeted her with a smile. "Thank you, Aunt Zhang, for guiding us. The environment here is quite unique." Qingyue murmured lightly and walked into the tea house with lotus steps. The tea house is indeed a unique place where all kinds of people gather, boasting and gossiping about who has fat buttocks, or be full of energy, guide the country, and discuss the overall situation of the world. However, at this moment, the tea house fell into a brief silence. Everyone stopped their movements and stared straight at the fairy-like beauty walking towards the door. Charming and graceful, in full bloom, stunning and enchanting. Hiss, the big flower queen of Zuyuju, Ziyuan, is not as beautiful as this young lady, is she? Is this the mortal world left behind by fairies? Shaoqing. The quiet atmosphere was broken, and people excitedly whispered and made a noise. Who is this girl from? She has a beautiful appearance, and I don't know if she's married or not. Madam is so beautiful. I can't do it anymore. My heart is pounding and I'm about to explode. If I could marry such a beautiful woman, I would be willing to lose my life by 20 years. Watching the crowd greedily staring at her young lady, Qilua's face darkened and a chill burst from her eyes. Everyone trembled all over, their expressions somewhat bewildered. How could you still feel the coldness when the sun rises high today and you're eating hot tea? Hey, go do whatever you want. This is Nagar's future daughter. Law, be careful with your eyes and don't look around. Aunt Zhang stood in front of Qingyue, like an old hen guarding her cubs. Aunt Zhang, you're too biased. The daughter. Law you found for Nagar is so beautiful, and the one you found for me. If it weren't for being pregnant with my baby, I would have wanted to return it. Get out of here. Nagar saved my mother's life, of course I'm concerned. Aunt Zhang scolded angrily. Huh, don't be sad, Big Black. When Nagar gets married, let's go eat him. After learning that this beautiful woman was Li Nuo's blind date, everyone burst into friendly laughter. With a faint smile on her lips, Yi Jingyu walked elegantly and followed Aunt Zhang to the throne. It seems that the popularity of my blind date today is quite good. Will my luck fall on him? End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Takeover Hero. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Takeover Hero. Yejian. Aunt Zhang felt embarrassed and said, Miss Yi, please take a seat first. I'll go see if Nagar has arrived. Before long, friendly laughter came from downstairs. Li Nuo is here. As soon as they stepped into the door of the tea house, everyone frowned and started cheering. Nuo Guer, your little daughter.in.law has arrived. Don't mention how many brothers didn't remind you, that appearance and temperament. TSK, its unparalleled elegance. Hee. Noble is blessed, but you must take it easy, otherwise if you die young, you will give it to someone else at a cheaper price. Nagar, is the dowry silver enough? If it's not enough, I'll lend you some, just a penny of interest. Cough. Everyone, please lend me a hand and don't make the girl's house wait for too long. Li Nuo awkwardly squeezed through the crowd and walked towards Yejian. Who would have thought that a small blind date would cause such a violent reaction, but setting the blind date location in a tea house was suggested by the woman, and he couldn't refuse either. Seeing that Li Nuo had finally arrived, Aunt Zhang's heart also relaxed. She grabbed Li Nuo and walked towards Yejian. Come on, let me introduce you. This is Miss Yi Jingyu from the Yi family, and this is her maid Miss Qiluo. This is Li Nuo. You can talk slowly, and I'll be waiting for you downstairs. Qiluo, you can also follow Aunt Zhang down and wait. Yes, miss. Qiluo also behaved extremely well this time. Yajianli. The woman's eyes are filled with autumn water, her nose is like a jade, her lips are like rosy clouds, and wearing a white silk long dress makes her look even more graceful, just like a fairy in the world, so beautiful that it is impossible to find anything. Even Li Nuo, who had seen various beautiful women in his past life, was slightly dazed at this moment. Just the person in front of him gave him a feeling of familiarity. Illusion. It's not right either. After all, a beauty of this level, even a fleeting glance, may never be forgotten in this lifetime. Of course, it's impolite to keep looking at others. Li Nuo quickly withdrew his gaze and arched his hand, saying, Hello Miss Yi, I'm Li Nuo. And sit. Yi Jingyu nodded lightly, but the trembling corners of her eyes indicated that her current state of mind was not very calm. It's him. I thought it was the same name and surname, but I didn't expect it to be him. Moreover, there was a large golden light on his head that shone brightly in the eyes of a blind person. Destiny. Co-ruler of the world, Jin, literary and military strategy, Jin, continuous blessings, Jin, rebirth of the god of war, Jin, extraordinary talent in heaven, Jin, endless blessings, Jin. Gray light is a villain and sycophant, black light is a sign of near death, and there is also the blue light of hard work and ordinary white light. In the past half-month, she has seen countless people's fates, but she has never seen such a dazzling sight. In her eyes, Li Nuo was just a little golden figure. This is the highest destiny in the world, 3 points stronger than the Emperor's purple aura coming from the east. Is this her future ideal husband? Suddenly, my heart was beating even harder. If Mount Taishan had not formed the temperament of collapsing on the top without changing her face, she would have exclaimed. It seems like something strange has infiltrated. Is there an endless stream of pleasure? Still golden. This Yi Jingyu's heart was in turmoil. After sitting down, Li Nuo brewed tea for Yi Jingyu and said, Miss Yi, please have some tea. Aunt Zhang said, Miss Yi is from Lingnan. Did her family move to Yuzhou only after a disaster? Qingyue cleared her throat with a nasal sound, and then took a sip of tea to calm the restless heart lake at the moment. Li Noa felt a bit awkward. The other person doesn't speak much and their expression is also somewhat indifferent. Is it because they are not satisfied with him? Later, Li Noa found some topics, such as age, preferences, and even mentioned the overall situation of the world. However, most of them were just him talking. Qingyue just nodded or shook his head, occasionally giving a polite smile. This disappointed Li Noa a bit. It seems like there's no point in it again after a while. He couldn't find any more topics to talk about, so he asked, I wonder if Miss Yi has anything else she wants to know. Qingyue gently shook her bow. Li Noa was slightly disappointed and said, so, that's all for today. Qingyue nodded lightly. Okay, goodbye by chance. Since the woman doesn't like him, it's better to get together and disperse. It's just a matter of losing some tea money, which Li Noa still has. He stood up and escorted the woman out of the tea house. At the entrance of the tea house. Miss, how's it going? Qi Luo, who didn't know why, tilted her head and asked curiously. Later, she glanced a few more at Li Noa not far away, feeling that he had a somewhat familiar face and seemed to have met somewhere before. Qingyue murmured a few words softly in Qiluo's ear. Ah, in 5 days. Qilua covered her mouth and exclaimed in surprise. Go quickly. After urging Qingyue, she got into the carriage. According to the blind date process, both parties need to inform the matchmaker of their wishes, allowing them to convey them, in order to avoid embarrassment caused by not looking at each other. Qi Luo conveyed Qingyue's wishes to Aunt Zhang, and then got on the car. And at this moment, the leader of his own sect had a drunken blush on his face, his delicate body soft and full of coquettishness. Where is this still the more ruthless and ruthless demon cult leader who kills without blinking an eye? This is clearly a young girl in the early stages of love. Qi Luo was full of doubts and said, Miss, even if that young Master Li caught your eye, wouldn't it be too rushed to hold this wedding in 5 days? Get married earlier to avoid any unexpected complications. Qingyue murmured softly, with a shy expression on her face. Golden opportunity, unparalleled in the world. Although it is still in the brewing stage, given time, the dragon will soar for 9 days and dominate the crowd. This kind of man naturally deserves her as the destiny master. As for that damn endless pleasure, she still doesn't believe it. With her means, she won't be able to suppress it. The mysteries of heaven and earth are unpredictable, and criticizing the use of the 8 characters to change feng shui is just a small trick. Seizing the opportunity of fate and even reversing the country's power and fortune is truly amazing. The carriage slowly drove away from the tea house, taking away a sleeve of charm. Retrieving his gaze, Li Noa felt a bit depressed. Anyone who has been rejected by the woman in recent days will also be in a bad mood. Nagar, calm down quickly. What do you think? Aunt Zhang asked eagerly. Ah, I'm afraid my temple is too small to accommodate fairies like her. Li Noa shook his head and sighed. Even though he had read countless women in his past life, he still felt a bit ashamed in front of Qingyue, who was devoted to the city and the country. It is normal for such a beautiful woman not to look up to him. Aunt Zhang frowned in confusion and said, No, what do you mean? Do you want to push out such a daughter? Law. Li Noa smiled bitterly and said, I don't have the qualifications to refuse. They don't like me, and it's useless for me to say that. Aunt Zhang was shocked and said, That's not right. The girl said she's in love with you. If you're willing, the wedding date can be set directly. It'll be in 5 days. Ah. Did she really say that? Li Noa's face was full of doubt. Oh my, Noa Guer, are you willing or not? Hurry up and give me a definite answer. Aunt Zhang urged anxiously. I guess I'm also. Willing, right? Li Noa felt a bit confused. Yi Qingyu is as beautiful as a flower, with a gentle and elegant temperament. She only speaks a little less, but who wouldn't want to marry such a woman? Just when she was in the elegant room of the tea house, her emotions were clearly not very enthusiastic. Why did she take a liking to him? Also, is this wedding date too rushed? Wait. There's a problem. For no reason, a Lin sister fell from the sky for him crouching slot. Shouldn't I have become the legendary receiver? It's really possible. Thinking of this, Li Noa felt a chill in his heart. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Night Exploration of the Boudoir. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 5. Forced Buying and Selling. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 5. Forced Buying and Selling, Impossible. Our identity is pure and clear, unless there is a traitor in the sect. However, we cannot be careless, we should pay more attention to it in the future. Yi Qingyu frowned slightly. She is the third-rank Destiny Master. Although there are advantages and disadvantages in various cultivation systems, one thing is common, which is that the third-level realm is the watershed. Taking Wu Fu as an example, the only one in the entire martial arts world who can cultivate the body of the third-rank Diamond Immortal is Yang Wudi, the leader of the Martial Arts Alliance 100 years ago. At the age of 22, Yi Qingyu was able to become the third-rank Destiny Master, and her greatest credit was actually her Holy Master. I thought that with this cultivation, she could easily be crushed in the city of Yuzhou, but to my surprise, a skilled expert touched her mansion in the middle of the night, and she was unaware of it. If this person harbors hostility towards her, I'm afraid she will really die in a dream. Of course. Yi Qingyu still has limited experience in the martial arts world and overestimates the opponent. Li Noa only took advantage of the technique of restrained breathing, and his actions were quite appropriate. If he really broke into Yi Qingyu's boudoir, he would definitely startle her, and he would really die on the spot. For several days in a row, Li Noa was in high spirits and his face was radiant. Harvest a wave of blessings when meeting people, don't be too happy in your heart. Nagar, the red stickers are ready, the big red lanterns are also hung, and tomorrow's chef has also been contacted. Okay, thank you for your hard work. Hehe, brother Li Noa, the new bedding has been changed, the bedrooms have been cleaned up, and the courtyard has been renovated according to your wishes. Can you see where else needs to be changed? Chui'er's younger sister is more talkative in her work. I am very satisfied. Li Noa was very satisfied as he watched his wedding room renovate. These people were brought in by Aunt Zhang for help, they were all hardworking neighbors. Hehe, then let's go first. Nagor also needs to rest earlier today. He may be busy tomorrow. Thank you all for your help. If you don't show respect for the small red envelope, take it all. Also, let's eat it tomorrow. After everyone left, Li Noa stretched lazily. After a busy day and feeling a bit tired, just as he was about to return to his room to rest, he saw a young man with a blue nose and swollen face approach him. Hey, isn't this Brother Wang? What's wrong with you? Li Noa carefully studied for a long time before recognizing that this person was Mr. Wang, who had rented his shop. No, nothing. I just accidentally fell. The young man pulled his hat and tried to cover his swollen cheeks, his eyes flickering as he hesitated and said, that Nagar. Something happened in my hometown, and I need to rush back to deal with it immediately. I don't plan to continue renting your shop. Can you refund me some of the rent? Not renting anymore. Alright, have you brought the lease agreement? The rent of 40 taels per year is indeed not a small amount for ordinary families, but Li Noa is confident that it is not difficult to make money, so he agreed and fully refunded it. I brought it with me. Thank you very much, Brother Noa, for your understanding. The young man immediately took out the lease agreement from his arms and handed it to Li Noa, almost crying with joy. Taking back the lease agreement, Li Noa took out the silver from the house and handed it to the young man. The young man collected his money with a somewhat complicated expression, as if he was hesitant to speak. "Why, Brother Wang has other things to do. If you really encounter any difficulties, I can help if possible." Li Noa was a bit puzzled. Is this person trying to borrow money? The young man also had a conscience. He looked around and saw that no one noticed him. He summoned up the courage to step forward, gritted his teeth and said in a low voice. "No go, I will go back to my hometown. Go home. You should pay attention to yourself. Lei Daomen has been acting out of line these days." After speaking, the young man hurriedly left, afraid of causing trouble. Thunderbolt Gate. Shouldn't it be another gang fight? But armed fighting and other matters are not under his jurisdiction. And he has been busy with wedding matters these days, how can he spare time to pay attention to others? So Li Noa didn't take this matter to heart either. Unexpectedly, only an hour later, the Thunder Blade Sect came knocking on him. "Captain Li is available, and Cui Xiangdi from Leidao Gate has come to pay his respects." 7th level inner strength, Blade Runner, Cui Xiangdi nicknamed Thunderbolt Blade. Li Noa frowned slightly. Although he was a rising figure last year, this name is not small in Yuzhou City. His only sister married the prefect and became a sequel, which naturally elevated her status. At the end of last year, the Thunder Sword Sect annexed the Chao Gang and incorporated the Yuzhou River area into the Sect's sphere of influence, gaining immense popularity for a while. Although Li Noa also secretly supported some martial artists, they were all in a state of free range. And Cui Xiangdi and he had no apparent interest in each other. I don't know what the purpose of this person's visit was, but it's not easy to make others shut the door directly. So he opened the door and arched his hand, asking, "So it's Master Cui who is here to watch?" "I don't know why." "Haha, I heard that Captain Li is getting married tomorrow, so I'm here to offer a big gift as a token of my heartfelt affection." Speaking, Cui Xiangdi took out a contract from his arms and handed it over. Li Noa took over and saw that the smile on his face gradually cooled down. Cui Xiangdi was completely indifferent and asked with a smile, "Is Captain Li still satisfied?" "As long as he signs his name, he will immediately present 300 silver patterns and go to the Yamen to file these procedures. I will handle them." "Master Cui, did Mr. Wang terminate the lease under your threat?" Li Noa asked indifferently. Originally, Cui Xiangdi wanted to buy his shop across the Yuzhou River, but the price offered was only half of the market price. The banks of the Yuzhou River are incredibly prosperous, and it can be said that one shop has been passed down for 3 generations. If such a prosperous shop doesn't cost a premium of 30.5%, who would be willing to sell it? Mr. Li is about to get married soon. I'm afraid you're too busy, so I took the initiative to handle the lease of your shop. Mr. Wang is quite sensible. Cui Xiangdi Pai smiled and didn't laugh. 300 taels is not a big deal. After you get married, there will be more money to spend. You can't compromise the bride. I don't need to worry about my family matters anymore, Sect leader Cui. I won't sell the shop. Former emperors can be tough without bowing their heads. If his successor is afraid of a martial arts gang, wouldn't he want to laugh his teeth out? If the other party really dares to tear open their face and forcefully buy and sell, I'm afraid even the governor can't withstand his sword. Cui Xiangdi has been used to the smooth sailing of the past 2 years. Unexpectedly, he has personally come to the door to save face. How dare a small prison guard class leader disobey him? He immediately lowered his face and said, "Mr. Li needs to consider carefully. I have already taken over the 10 or so shops next to me, and I am preparing to renovate them. If we were to miss your family, it would be very troublesome to renovate. Moreover, if we were to miss a corner, the feng shui would be broken, which would not be conducive to the development of our Thunder Sword Sect. What does the development of the Thunder Sword Sect have to do with me? If it doesn't sell, it won't sell, even if the governor comes, that's what I said. Li Noa won't get used to him. It is true that he has been deposed of his literary position, but only a few prominent figures in the court can guide him. How can a small thunderbolt jump up and down the door? Li Noa, you're just a prison guard squad leader. Do you really think your majesty has awarded you the 9th rank and you're an official? Tomorrow is your day of great joy. If you can cooperate, the Thunder Knife Gang will offer a gift. If you're stubborn and humming, don't blame me for being impolite. If you've figured it out before midnight tonight, you can come to my mansion to find me. That's all for it. I hope you'll take it easy. After threatening Cui Xiangdi, he brushed his sleeves and left. And Li Noa's gaze towards Cui Xiangdi's departing figure seemed to be that of a dead person. Tomorrow's big day is indeed a time of no bloodshed. If that's the case, then strangle the threat tonight. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Black Moon and High Wind Murder Night. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Black Moon and High Wind Murder Night. The moon is dark and the wind is high. A candlelight flickered gently, reflecting two beautiful shadows. We'll get married tomorrow, hee hee. Miss, are you too excited to sleep now? You must be thinking about uncle in your heart. Qi Luo playfully spat out her tongue while wearing a nightgown. Damn girl, don't talk nonsense. Business matters, go and get back quickly. Yi Qingyue, who was painting, glanced at the maid with displeasure, but the corner of her eye was filled with happiness. Don't worry, miss. Even a swordsman in the 7th grade inner strength realm dares to bully my uncle and kill him with just one sword. Qilua straightened her small chest and looked proud. After the marriage was arranged, Yi Qingyue couldn't help but worry about her future husband. Naturally, she secretly followed Li Noa's every move. After learning that Cui Xiangdi came to pick trouble and even wanted to disrupt her marriage, how could she tolerate it? Miss, are you painting? I'll take a look at what you're painting. Ah, it's uncle. Miss, this painter is really amazing, he's so delicate and beautiful. After changing into her nightgown, Qilua poked her curious little head and suddenly thought of something. She covered her mouth and exclaimed in surprise, ah. Uncle, he. I remember. At first glance, what comes to your mind? Yi Qingyue finished the last ink stroke and asked after finishing writing. So my uncle is the one in our holy church. Later, Qi Luo finally understood why Li Noa gave her a feeling of familiarity. When she was in the holy church, she saw a portrait scroll of Li Noa. Yi Qingyue nodded calmly and said, it's him. Qi Luo's mouth slightly opened and she was stunned. But miss, uncle is not the top scholar anymore. He has abandoned his foundation in Confucianism and Taoism and has become an abandoned son. Even if he abandons literature and studies martial arts, he has already passed the age of quenching his body, and I'm afraid he will have little to do in his lifetime. Miss, you're asking for trouble to marry him, aren't you? The sect leaders and protectors will definitely have objections. You don't understand. Anyway, after tomorrow, he will be my husband. And my husband Yi Qingyue, who dares to object in the teachings. Do you really think my sword can't kill people? Yi Qingyue's eyes were filled with a chill, exuding a majestic aura, like an empress who reigns over the world. This is the real her. Alright, you go down and handle things more efficiently. Don't leave any leverage behind. Seeing that Qilua seemed frightened by her own aura, Yi Qingyue waved her hand and gestured for her to hurry to work. Qi Luo shrunk her mouth, daring not to disobey the will of the sect leader. She quickly turned around and disappeared into the vast night. This night is destined to be a sleepless night. To the east of the city, a luxurious mansion. Under the swaying candlelight, a group of young women walked barefoot on incense, their eyebrows and eyes were charming, their waist was like a water snake, dancing and laughing, making one's blood boil. On the main seat. Cui Xiangdi hugged left and right, his eyes half open and half closed, and his face slightly intoxicated. He looked at the red shepherd leading the dance with a coquettish expression and said, "Let me tell you, although the purple kite in Drunken Moon House is beautiful, the rouge girl in the Thrushcross Tower also has a unique charm. Brother Nye, look at this twisted waist of a water snake, it really makes people want to be immortal and die." Hee, Brother Cui is indeed from the same path. But when it comes to the Yuzhou River painting boat, Brother Cui's Thunderbolt Saber technique is really impressive. Brother Cui, don't hide it, did you kill the white snake demon? Only you, Brother Cui, have the exclusive right to kill the 6th grade snake demon with the 7th grade saber technique. On the guest seat, a rough man raised his thumb and flattered. His name is Nye Yuanji. He was originally the leader of the Chao gang and was in charge of the freight business in the area along the Yuzhou River. He is also considered a well-known leader in Yuzhou City. But who would have thought that when he came to the Thunderblade sect, he dared not resist and directly rallied his troops to join the Thunderblade sect. To be polite, this is a wise way to protect oneself. To put it bluntly, this is a coward. Cui Xiangdi saw that he was sensible, so he agreed to a position as deputy gang leader. Seeing Nye Yuanji complimenting him, Cui Xiangdi smiled silently. He doesn't want to explain this matter. It makes people mistakenly think that the white snake demon he killed is the best, and it greatly enhances his reputation. Why not do it? Even if someone finds out it's a misunderstanding in the future, there's no loss. He has never admitted it in public. Brother Cui, it's almost past the hour of high. Do you think the head of the prison guard will come to apologize and admit his mistake? Nye Yuanji asked again. I dare not refuse to come, unless he really doesn't want to get married tomorrow. Just holding on to a small prison guard, Cui Xiangdi still has this confidence. Nye Yuanji worried and said, I heard he used to be the top scholar. Brother Nye is too worried. I have already checked and found out that since he abandoned the foundation of Confucianism and Taoism, he cannot make a comeback and has become an abandoned son. Cui Xiangdi smiled calmly. Nye Yuanji gave a lewd smile and said, I heard that his inexperienced wife is as beautiful as a flower, even more beautiful than the purple yuan flower queen. I don't know if it's true or false. Cui Xiangdi, who enjoys every night with no women, immediately became interested and said, Oh. Really? I've been busy with the store these days, and I haven't even noticed this. I happen to have the opportunity to see her tomorrow. In broad daylight, he is not yet arrogant and domineering in robbing common women. However, if he uses some tricks to force others to hand over his daughter-in-law for him to play with, then he still has the ability to do so. He just needs to give more money afterwards. Before Nye Yuanji could answer, the front door of the hall was torn apart, and the candles in the hall suddenly went out. Immediately after, a voice full of killing intent rang out. Dead people don't have a chance. Nye Yuanji's body was full of excitement and he went straight under the table. The red waiters in the hall were also panicked. You squeezed me, I squeezed you, competing to run out, and the scene was chaotic. Cui Xiangdi woke up halfway in an instant, glaring angrily and scolding, pretend to be a god and a ghost, and don't even look at what place this is. How can you be allowed to act wild? At the moment he spoke, he kicked the women on both sides and jumped up from his seat. At the same time, he drew his sword and began to dance wildly. In an instant, the blade was blazing brightly, with its shards intertwined. The women in the hall who were rushing around with their heads in their arms were not as fast as Cui Xiangdi's blade. They were all hit and fell to the ground, suffocating and dying. Cui Xiangdi is also a ruthless person, afraid that someone might sneak in and attack him in the crowd, so he took the initiative and directly launched a killing spree. Left and right are just a group of hard-working brothel women, kill and then kill, no one will help them stand out. Killing innocent people indiscriminately, the crime is even worse. Suddenly, The temperature in the hall suddenly dropped, and an inexplicable chill invaded his heart. Cui Xiangdi suddenly felt stiff all over, and his sword technique was slowed down. Immediately, a sword flashed past and directly attacked his facade. In a hurry, he turned back to block the knife. Bang! Swords and shadows intertwine. Blocked it. He wore a cruel smile on his face. I'm afraid the assassin won't take action. Now that the assassin has turned from dark to light and has been blocked by him, it is only a matter of time before he can defeat the opponent. If we delay for a moment, the strange changes here will inevitably attract the night guards, and at that time, the assassins will be unable to fly. Humph. In Yuzhou City, daring to show him the sword is purely an act of seeking death. However, Cui Xiangdi's thoughts were too beautiful. The smile on his face only lasted for a moment before solidifying. Life quietly passed by, and he wanted to shout, but opened his mouth but couldn't make a sound. A sword mark suddenly appeared. Blood flowed straight down his forehead, cutting through his nose, mouth, throat, and chest. Although Cui Xiangdi's sword caught the opponent's sword, its momentum penetrated and killed him. The 9th-grade martial artist refines the flesh, with rough skin and thick flesh that is quite durable to beat. The 8th-grade chi energy is released externally, which can condense sword energy and blade sharpness to kill enemies. Cultivate inner strength in the 7th grade and beat cows across the mountains. At the 6th level of dark power, each move is unstoppable and can kill invisibly. 6th rank dark power, swordsman, there is only one in Yuzhou City, but that is Colonel Qin Baitian, who is in charge of arrest, interrogation, and imprisonment. But the figure of the man in black in front of me clearly doesn't match his size. Cui Xiangdi didn't understand who he had offended until he died. Who is so bold to assassinate him? Great Xia, spare your life. Don't kill me. I came to drink under the influence of Cui Xiangdi's lewd power. I am a virtuous citizen who abides by my duty. Under the table, Nie Ziyuan was frightened and shivered. Qi Luo held her sword and hesitated for a moment, but in the end, she didn't hurt the assassin. She gave him a cold glance before turning around and leaving. Xiao Qing. Nie Ziyuan saw that there was no movement, so he crawled out from under the table. He just looked at the corpses scattered in the hall, in a mess, and his face was even uglier than that of his deceased parents. Done. Everything is over. Cui Xiangdi is dead, this matter will definitely escalate, and the governor will definitely not give up easily. Regardless of whether it is related to him or not, he will inevitably be implicated. The disaster of imprisonment is mild, and if one cannot handle it, he may have to be buried with him. Thinking that I have also accumulated a lot of gold and silver over the years, it's better to just run away. Just before he could recover, a sharp blade exploded like thunder. Click, the abdomen was cut open, and all 5 organs and 6 internal organs were crushed into meat. Nie Ziyuan had a frightened expression on his face. Wu Fu's rough skin and thick flesh are already resistant to beating, and he spent 30 years practicing the iron cloth shirt, but couldn't withstand the opponent's blow. It's this knife technique, so familiar Thunder Blade. Isn't this Cui Xiangdi's specialty? Holding his last breath, Nie Ziyuan struggled to turn his head and glanced at Cui Xiangdi's body, unable to close his eyes in the hall. There was finally silence, only the sound of the wind howling. Qi Luo had just walked out of the mansion, but stopped in her tracks. How could I soften my heart when I thought of the sect leader saying that we cannot leave any leverage, so we must not leave any survivors. So he hurriedly turned back and happened to see the scene where Nie Ziyuan was killed by a lightning knife. And the black figure made the move blurred for a moment before completely losing its breath, which made her hair stand on end. Killing under one's own nose is normal, but after killing someone, one can instantly restrain their evil energy and escape her perception, which is quite impressive. There are experts in Yuzhou City. This matter must be told to the leader as soon as possible. Thinking of this, Qilua hurriedly left. At this moment, Li Nuo slowly emerged from the darkness. Just now, he used the technique of restrained breathing and even mobilized his literary energy, using the technique of one leaf obstructing the eyes, in Confucianism, in order to block all of his own breath. But at this moment, he was also very curious in his heart. It seems that there are really many enemies of Cui Xiangdi. The swordsmanship exhibited by the man in black was only a basic swordsmanship, clearly deliberately concealing his identity. Who could it be? Without any clue, Li Nuo quickly regained his composure. He had no intention of interfering in the struggles of the martial arts gangs, but Cui Xiangdi and Nia Yuanji died, and the collapse of the Thunder Sword sect was imminent. Since that's the case, why not take advantage of his own people? Half a year ago, the boy he saved from the bear demon had momentum and loyalty, as if he had already reached the position of the leader of the Chao gang. It's him. Thinking about this, he tore off a page of writing paper, ran the dantian, and infused the literary energy into the paper. In an instant, when paper transformed into a paper crane, and with a flick of its small wings, it disappeared into the darkness. This is exactly the Confucian and Taoist spiritual technique. Paper crane transmission of books. The little paper crane quickly flew to a small courtyard in the West City. The owner of the mansion felt a sense of it and immediately discovered the paper crane. After reading the contents of the transmission, he showed an excited smile on his face and murmured to himself, "Master, you remember me. Don't worry, I will definitely subdue the power of the Thunder Sword sect and become the sharpest knife in your hand." End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Marriage. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Marriage. Master, is this the game you set 15 years ago? But it seems that he doesn't remember me anymore. Cold fingertips caressed the portrait of the man on the rice paper, and Qingyue murmured softly. The 9th level of the Tianji Dao is called the traveling realm. As the name suggests, one must travel around the world, which is very similar to the 9th level of the Buddhist sect, the ascetic monk. 15 years ago, my master took her, who was only 7 years old, on a journey to the north and south of the Yangtze River. When she arrived in Yuzhou, Jiangnan, she suddenly fell ill. Fortunately, she met Li Nuo and brought a doctor to treat her master, forming this friendship. That was also her first encounter with young Li Nuo. However, upon closer reflection, it is clear that this was the game set by the master. The third-rank Destiny Master can view the fate of all living beings, and even the master who stepped into the second-rank realm with half a foot back then could easily see Li Nuo's life destiny. Even, it is highly likely that Li Nuo's fate has been tampered with by his master. But one thing she was curious about was that her master had planned for 15 years and left this opportunity for her. Is it really just that he wanted her to find a suitable husband to spend this life with? Or does Li Nuo really have the ability to overthrow the Dayan dynasty? Although Li Nuo's destiny is a golden one, extremely strong, fate is already a very mysterious and elusive thing. Even if one conforms to fate, accidents often occur. Master went overseas to search for the way of heaven, but there was no news. It has been 5 years now, and it is unknown whether his family has broken through the realm. Putting down the scroll, Qingyue let out a gentle sigh, her expression somewhat dazed. "Miss, I'm back." At this moment, the sound of Qi Luo came from outside the door, interrupting Qingyue's imagination. "Isn't everything going smoothly?" Watching Qi Luo scurrying through the door and entering, Qingyue's eyebrows furrowed slightly. "Miss, I did kill Cui Xiangdi, but I met a mysterious person in his mansion." Qi Luo patted her small chest and told Qingyue everything in detail. "Are you saying that person is hiding under your nose?" Qingyue was somewhat skeptical. "Yes. I suspect that the mysterious person is the expert who infiltrated our mansion a few days ago." Qi Luo is very determined. The Taoist sect is best at the art of concealment, and it is likely that this person will be a strong Taoist sect expert. Qingyue said with great interest. Qi Luo pouted and said, "Miss, there are experts like this in Yuzhou City. Should we notify the sect to send more people over? Qingyue shook her head and said, it's not advisable to engage in a big fight, otherwise it would be more than worth the attention of the government. Besides, I don't expect this person to be an enemy. Why? Qi Luo looked puzzled. Qingyue smiled and said, if it's an enemy, do you think you can come back unscathed? Since that person doesn't want to reveal his identity, he doesn't want to have too much involvement with us, let him go. Miss, in case he is unfavorable to us. Qi Luo still hesitated a bit. After all, the appearance of an unidentified expert by her side still put a lot of pressure on her. Qingyue nodded and said, you should also restrain yourself a bit these days. If you don't take action, then don't do it. In this way, after I get married, you can take my token to the Qingyue Tower and only meet their landlord by Shaoxing. You must quickly subdue the remaining forces of the Thunder Sword Sect. Qingyue Tower. The Qingyue Tower that evaluates the major Fengyun Bang in the martial arts world. Are they the people we teach? Qilua was extremely surprised. Qingyue pursed her lips and chuckled lightly, otherwise, do you really think we can stir up the storm in Yuzhou City alone? Alright, let's rest earlier. We should wake up early tomorrow. The next day. The heavens are beautiful, and the vast expanse of blue sky is as clear as a wash. After a burst of crackling firecrackers, the sound of welcoming Suona sounded. On both sides of Anhafeng Street, the surrounding neighbors eagerly awaited and were overjoyed. A few more children ran forward happily, asking for candy and money. The bride is here. Noa Guer is getting married, Noa Guer is going to become a real man. Congratulations to Nagar for marrying a beautiful and charming woman. Noble needs to work harder and strive to be able to pick up the chubby guy next year today. Riding a tall horse with a red flower on his chest, Li Noa smiled at the corners of his mouth and kept bowing to the people around him to thank him. Thank you all for supporting us. Today, everyone has a good meal and drinks, and we won't go home until we get drunk. The auspicious time has arrived, bowing to heaven and earth. The ceremony is complete, inviting the bride into the bridal chamber. After sending the bride into the bridal chamber, Li Noa brought up a glass of wine and toasted one table after another. 15 tables of wine were set up. Although the dishes may not be considered delicacies, they are also chicken, duck, and fish meat, exceptionally plump and delicious. Especially the taste, it really opened the eyes of the guests, making their mouths full of oil, and they exclaimed that Li Noa is so top-notch. Ladies and gentlemen, please drink this cup. Uncle Huang, your favorite dish is chicken legs. This is the lotus leaf chicken from Drunken Immortal Tower. You should eat more. Congratulations to Nagar for bringing back the beautiful woman. I have nothing else, but I still have some strength and can still support Nagar. An old man who was as thin as wood and had lost 2 front teeth frowned and smiled. He is an old prison guard, now under the command of Li Noa. More than a decade ago, he taught Li Noa some manual skills that he had not yet enlightened, and he deserves to be called uncle by Li Noa. In no time, Li Noa felt slightly tipsy. At this moment, Colonel Qin Baitian and 2 constables arrived at the door. Captain Qin arrived, offering a gift of 10 taels of silver, a pair of jade bracelets, and a gold lock. The gatekeeper immediately chanted. Qin Baitian, with a bearded face, was also a handsome scholar when he was young. However, he had an accident halfway through and switched to swordsmanship. In this way, the 2 of them also developed a friendship of being fallen people from all over the world. With this interaction, the 2 became acquainted and quickly became brothers. Especially Li Noa helped to slay demons, but he was of great help to Qin Baitian. Li Noa immediately welcomed him and enthusiastically said, Qin brother is here. Why did you prepare such a thick gift? Take your seat quickly, and we'll drink 300 cups without stopping. This time Li Noa got married, he naturally invited Qin Baitian, but it was a banquet scheduled for the evening, after all, Qingyue still had to be on duty during the day. At this moment, Qingyue was dressed in official attire, which caused unnecessary trouble. Therefore, he did not take the seat and instead called Li Nuo to the door. He smiled and said, "You are really lucky. I heard that your younger brother and sister are beautiful and beautiful. After getting married, you must take it easy." "Huh, where, it's just that I'm lucky." Li Nuo chuckled and said. Qingyue patted Li Nuo's shoulder and said sternly, "All right, let's not talk about that anymore. There's something important. I'll ask you, where were you last night at Haichen?" Li Nuo replied without blinking an eye or feeling startled, "I was busy organizing things at home yesterday. What happened?" Qingyue nodded and said, "That's good." Li Nuo asked in response, "What happened?" "Last night at Haishi, Cui Xiangdi was killed in his own mansion." Qingyue's face became solemn. Cui Xiangdi. Li Nuo hesitated for a moment before exclaiming, "Qin, are you referring to Cui Xiangdi, the leader of the Thunder Sword Sect and his sister who married the magistrate?" "Alas, Lord Chen was furious and ordered us to thoroughly investigate this matter." Qingyue sighed. Li Nuo was surprised and said, "We need to investigate carefully. Who is so bold that even Cui Xiangdi dares to kill him? Isn't this not giving the magistrate face?" Qingyue said again, "Yesterday at sunset, someone saw Cui Xiangdi come to see you. It seems that some unpleasant things happened between you two." Li Nuo replied truthfully, "There was indeed this matter, but it was just a misunderstanding. He wanted to buy my shop on the banks of the Yuzhou River, but I didn't agree." "Is that all? Otherwise? Brother Qin, you wouldn't think I killed him, would you? I heard he's a 7th level internal strength sword cultivator. How could I have such great abilities?" Li Nuo self-deprecatingly said. Qingyue couldn't help but say, "You kid, don't interrupt. This matter is of great importance, so I'm afraid the culprit may not be found. If the governor gets angry, it will implicate innocent people. At least the prefect is also a reader of holy words. How could he be so reckless with people's lives?" "Qin, don't talk nonsense." Li Nuo had a positive expression on his face. It seems that Qingyue is somewhat petty. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Empress. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Empress, stinky kid, you dare to tease my brother. Qingyue cried and laughed uncontrollably. "All right, you can continue to entertain guests. I have to go somewhere else to find clues, so I won't come to the dinner party tonight. If Brother Qin needs any help, just let me know and I will definitely be confused." "All right, I can't trouble you. As a newlywed, I've already criticized you for taking a 3-day vacation. You can spend these 3 days with your younger siblings and say goodbye." After Qingyue left, Li Nuo appeared lost in thought. In fact, it is almost impossible to trace this matter to his head unless he reveals his identity. But one thing he did not consider carefully was whether the prefect Qingyue would really be like Qingyue said. Once the true culprit cannot be found, it will implicate innocent people. Qingyue's Confucian and Taoist cultivation is in the realm of 5th grade argumentation. Confucianism and Taoism are very interesting. Both the 9th grade foundation and the 8th grade literary heart have no killing power. 100 useless scholars, and hands without the power to bind chickens, refer to these two realms. But when it comes to the 7th grade of lip and tongue swords, chopping people is as simple as cutting melons. In layman's terms, one can even kill with their mouth. When you reach the 6th rank realm, you can cultivate a magnificent and righteous aura, fearless of evil spirits in the world. Li Nuo killed the white snake demon with just 2 knives, which was not afraid of her seductive skills and took a clever move. And once you enter the realm of the 5th grade, you will be as delicious as a river, pointing deer as horses, and lying incessantly. Even if you do something against your original intention, you don't have to worry about your literary integrity being tarnished. I heard that Qingyue Su Xian has a bad temper. It is also possible to force Qingyue to do some heinous things in order to avenge his brother. And the Cui family is not a small family. It's not an exaggeration to say it's just a gatekeeper. In fact, Li Nuo and the Cui family still have a never-ending and chaotic relationship. He has a matchmaking agreement with the legitimate Miss Cui Wanwan of the Cui family, and will only get married after the scientific examination is over. Unexpectedly, such an incident occurred. The top scorer when position he obtained flew away, and he himself was also invalidated. This engagement naturally came to an end. Although the Cui family of Yuzhou River is only a collateral member, it cannot be underestimated. Li Nuo's plan for the present can only be a matter of soldiers coming to block, water coming to cover the earth. If the Cui family somehow annoys him, kill them, and then flee Yuzhou with the whole family to the south of Xinjiang to create a Xintiandi. Although southern Xinjiang was also a part of the Dayan dynasty, it was raised by a typical stepmother who did not care for her grandmother or uncle. Half of the officials who were demoted in the court will be exiled to southern Xinjiang, and those Jianghu villains who have committed crimes and are wanted will also gather here, mixed with good and bad, making it difficult to manage. In addition, the land is not fertile enough and there is not much food output, so the court's interest in this land has always been low. As long as it is not a nominal rebellion, then turn a blind eye. Let's get to the point. Night falls, the moon is bright and the stars are sparse. The guests also left one after another after being full of wine and food. Nagar, hurry inside and accompany the bride. We will tidy up here ourselves, so you don't have to worry. Thank you very much, Brother Lin. Li Nuo was also drinking heavily at this moment. Ha, how polite are you to me. Come to Drunken Immortal Tower when you have time in the future. Hee, it's best to bring out some new dishes. Lin Pengzi chuckled. He is the shopkeeper of the Drunken Immortal Tower, and the reason why the business of the Drunken Immortal Tower has achieved first place and even gained fame in Jiangnan Road is due to Li Nuo's greatest contribution. It was Li Nuo who provided many dish recipes. Many people are unaware of this. This banquet was all sponsored by the Drunken Immortal Tower and didn't cost Li Nuo a penny. Li Nuo entered the bridal chamber. And his bride sat quietly on the bed at this moment, wearing a phoenix crown and a rosy robe, swaying a red candle, so beautiful that it was intoxicating. Madam, I'm here. Li Nuo stumbled forward and said with a mesmerizing gaze, You've been waiting for so long, I'm going to lift the red veil. Immediately. A breathtaking face appeared before Li Nuo's eyes, making her heart skip a beat. Qingyue's rosy clouds flew down her cheeks and whispered, Husband, it's time to drink a toast. Right. Li Nuo regained his composure and quickly poured 2 glasses of wine, handing one of them to Qingyue's hand. However, Qingyue's expression suddenly froze, and her gaze swept over the windowsill. Her divine sense fell on the Purgatory Tower 10 miles away. There is a change. It seems that there are quite a few people who have the idea of Purgatory Towers. However, it's also good to help her explore the way first. Li Nuo did not notice anything unusual about Qingyue. He was as gentle as a waterway and said, Madam, after drinking this wine, we will grow old together in the long run. Although we cannot make you rich and prosperous, we will never let you suffer. Husband, I am willing to spend this life with you hand in hand. Please have mercy on me. Blow out the candle. A beautiful woman falls into her arms. Let's go to Wushan together. On one side, Li Nuo's bridal chamber was filled with joy, while on the other side, the mourning hall was adorned with mourning and filial piety. I don't care, my only brother was killed by someone or died in the city of Yuzhou. Even if you dig 3 feet deep, you still have to find the culprit and cut him 1,000 times. A middle-aged beautiful woman gritted her teeth, her eyes flashing with a strong look of malice. Your brother has offended too many people in his daily life. As I said before, he shouldn't go too far in his work. Now it's okay, he's been killed by his enemy. Governor Qingyue said with a gloomy face. Bullying a few mud-legged people is also considered excessive. Anyway, I don't care. If we can't find the culprit, I want those who have offended him to be buried together. I have asked Captain Qin to lead a thorough investigation. He is a skilled criminal case expert and will definitely uncover the truth. As long as the culprit is still in Yuzhou City, I will take care of him and bring him out. Alright, I still have business to attend to, and I will be staying at the yamen in the next few days. Qingyue hurriedly left. At the entrance, Qin Baitian is waiting. Upon seeing the situation, Qingyue immediately asked, "How did the investigation go?" Qin Baitian smiled bitterly and said, "Sir, based on the analysis of the crime scene, the killer's strength is not inferior to mine. At least he is a master of the 6th rank dark power, and he is skilled in thunder-style martial arts. It's just that we don't have such a person in Yuzhou City." Qingyue suppressed his anger and said, "So that's an outsider. I infer that it must be a martial arts hero passing by Yuzhou. The white snake demon discovered on the Yuzhou River before was also killed by Thunderblade, and all the signs suggest that it was the same person. Xia breaks the ban with martial arts. Humph, coming to our Yuzhou City to cause trouble is not to take my official seriously. The power of the martial arts world needs to be well managed. The city gate will continue to be strictly guarded, and all outsiders in the city will be investigated one by one. If I don't believe it, I won't be able to catch him. I obey your orders." The next day, a ray of sunlight slanted into the room, and Li Nuo slowly opened his eyes. He placed his hand aside, only to find the bed empty. If it weren't for the bright red curtains on the bed, he would have thought he had a spring dream. "Is your husband awake? Come and wash. I cooked some congee." Qingyue enters the room with a pot of porridge, and a lazy smile comes to his mouth. Looking at the bride who exuded charm with every frown and smile, Li Nuo felt a moment of confusion. "Did you really get married? Still married such a beautiful and virtuous wife?" He lifted the blanket and was about to get up when he saw a bright red spot somewhere on the bedsheet. Happiness arises naturally. Qingyue quickly grabbed the bedsheet and shyly said, "Don't look." Li Nuo laughed heartily and grabbed Qingyue's hands, pressing her back under him. "Madam, you are the best gift from heaven to me," he said. "Having a wife like this, what can a husband ask for? Husband, let go of me quickly, otherwise I will be ashamed to death if Qilua sees me." Qingyue blushed and blushed, shyly afraid to look at Li Nuo. "Hee, that girl is so clever that she won't disturb our good deeds." Li Nuo gently sniffed the fragrance on Qingyue's hair, tender like a waterway. At this moment, there was a clang at the door, and Qilua quickly withdrew her gaze and ran towards the outside. While running, she chuckled and said, "Miss, uncle, I have closed the door. Please continue, I'm going to buy groceries." Li Nuo's face immediately froze. "This girl, just leave now. Why are you still making a sound? She's really not sensible." Qingyue covered her mouth and chuckled. "You dare to sneak a laugh and fight." Li Nuo lightly flicked Qingyue's forehead and said with a smile, "By the way, I have a question for you. How did you get interested in me? Most women are eager to distance themselves after knowing my true identity, fearing that I might implicate them. How do I like you? Of course, it was my mother who saw your destiny in life, it was a golden one. If you don't take it quickly, wouldn't it be cheaper for other seductive people?" "Of course." Qingyue couldn't answer that way. She shyly replied, "I don't want to be rich or wealthy in my life. I just want to find a man who doesn't dislike my natural talent as my husband. And you happen to appear at that time, so this is fate." End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Qingyue Tower. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Qingyue Tower. Li Nuo's hand involuntarily reached down and grabbed Qingyue's delicate jade feet. My toes are like cardamom. Losing 1 point leads to weight loss, increasing 1 point leads to weight gain. Husband, let go quickly. Qingyue's breathing became faster, her eyes blurred, her delicate body stiff and hot. This was an unprecedented feeling, as if millions of ants were crawling through her heart. Li Numu was obsessed and immediately turned hot. The most primitive lust was about to erupt, but fortunately, the icy jade he was wearing around his neck brought cool waves, which quickly calmed him down. This is my own bride, how can I not be so pitiful? The days ahead are long. Cough, I'll go wash up. Li Nuo reluctantly left the bed and brushed his teeth with willow branches dipped in salt. After a wash, he ate the rice porridge that Qingyue cooked for him. Qingyue sits on the side, holding his chin, staring at Li Nuo's eating congee, and a faint smile comes to his mouth. Actually, being an ordinary woman is also quite good. However, suddenly, Qingyue became anxious about gains and losses again. She is the leader of the demon cult. This identity will eventually be showcased. Husband, can you accept it? Also, the cult originally trained Li Nuo as a spy, but after he entered the cabinet and took charge of politics, he was released from his memory of loyalty to the demon cult. Although this plan has died prematurely and he has completely become an abandoned child, this memory will still be known to him sooner or later. Will he hold any grudges? Sigh. Master, you really left a huge problem for me. I didn't expect the lady's craftsmanship to be so excellent. Li Nuo let out a burp and said, I have 3 days off. I don't know where the lady wants to go to play. I'll be with you for my husband. Qingyue replied, then let's first go to Yuzhou River to enjoy the beautiful scenery of the lake, and then go to Lingyin Temple to cultivate Buddhism. The Yuzhou River is truly the most beautiful scenery in Yuzhou. However, Lingyin Temple. Are you a Buddhist believer, madam? Li Nuo exclaimed in surprise. I can't be a believer, but I like Buddhist sayings. Qingyue smiled and said. After gaining this cultivation, she vaguely sensed that comprehending Buddhism would help her comprehend the heavenly mechanism Tao. Anhefang is not very far from the Yuzhou River, and the two of them walked to it in less than half an hour. To avoid causing unnecessary trouble, Qingyue was wearing a light veil. But it was Li Nuo, with a majestic and elegant demeanor. Walking on the street, his frowns attracted some young ladies to flirt, making Qingyue unable to laugh or cry. Husband, you are very popular among women. Cough. Because my husband doesn't even know them, the lady is worried too much. Li Nuo was dignified, but a strange feeling arose in his heart. What's going on today? The expressions of those little ladies on the road are very strange. In order to avoid suspicion, Li Nuo quickly rented a boat and the two of them went boating on the Yuzhou River, so there was no interference. Quietly enjoying their world, they drifted to the center of the river without realizing it. On the right pier, there are numerous cargo ships parked, and the gang members of the Chow gang are unloading goods, working vigorously. By the way, why don't we see your little maid? She can't stay idle, so early in the morning I asked her to handle the courtyard in Taihafang. Li Nuo took out a key and handed it to Qingyue, saying with a smile, this is the warehouse key. The house deed, silver, and treasures are all inside, and you will keep them from now on. Qingyue was somewhat moved. This man directly handed over all his property to her. Husband, I want to discuss something with you. You said. You will be working as a servant in the yamen in a few days, and I can't stay idle at home. I want to make a living. Li Nuo frowned. Although I don't have any aversion to women appearing in public, if it were my own wife. Then I feel a bit uneasy. Of course, the main reason is that the lady is too beautiful. In case she encounters some inconspicuous thugs and he is not by her side but looking at Qingyue's hopeful gaze, Li Nuo softened a bit and asked, what do you want to make a living? I want to open a shop that sells calligraphy, painting, talismans, and so on. I also have a lot of famous paintings and historical sites hidden in my home. This time when I came to Yuzhou, I moved all my belongings here. Open a calligraphy and painting shop. It seems like a good idea too. Coincidentally, I have a shop on this side of the Yuzhou River. Aunt Zhang should have told you about it, right? The tenant has terminated the lease, so let's use it to open a shop for you. Li Nua smiled and said. He suddenly remembered that the girl from Qilua was a skilled swordsman. With her protecting her, there was no problem with her safety. Did you agree, husband? Yi Qingyue exclaimed with joy. She thought Li Nua would refuse. After all, there are not many men in the big family who are so magnanimous and make a living by exposing their own wife. The area around Yuzhou River is the busiest, and the Yamen guards often patrol, which is safe. However, you should always be with Qilua and not travel alone, especially in recent times. Li Nua reminded. The collapse of the Thunder Sword Sect has become a foregone conclusion. If that kid wants to control this force, the resistance is not small, and there will definitely be a fight. Let's go. Just in time, I'll show you the shop. As for how to decorate and lay out, you have the final say. By the way, you can find Carpenter Lao Lin, who lives in the same neighborhood with us. Li Nua paddled the small boat towards the shore. After seeing the shop, Yi Jingyu was extremely satisfied and said, the green trees cover it, the wind and qi gather, and the water is the top priority. This shop is located well, and the feng shui is excellent. Madam. You still know how to watch feng shui. Li Nua joked and laughed. When I was a child, an old man with a white beard passed by my house and asked for a bowl of water to drink. As a gesture of gratitude, he taught me some knowledge. Yi Jingyu smiled elegantly, but in fact, she was so nervous inside that she almost slipped her tongue. However, this statement sounded a bit strange to Li Nua's ear. How can this version have an inexplicable sense of familiarity? Husband, I'm a bit hungry. Yi Qingyu immediately changed the topic. Well, let's go have some tea and snacks. Li Nua and Yi Jingyu quickly arrived at a tea house. Qingyue Tower. I went up to the third floor and found a seat by the window to sit down. While eating tea, I listened to the storyteller in the lobby downstairs talking about martial arts matters, which gave me a unique feeling. How did my husband think of bringing me here? Let's settle at Qingyue Tea House. This tea house is the main store. The location here is excellent, with a view of Lingyin Temple and excellent tea. You can try Longjing after the rain. Li Nua poured tea for Yi Jingyu. Yi Qingyu's face was full of smiles. Qingyue Tower is her territory. Fortunately, few people know her identity as the leader of the demon cult, and even Bai Shaoxing from Qingyue Tower has never seen her face. It was the storyteller downstairs who caught their attention. That's all for the grudges between Jiuying Mountain and Woody City. Next, let me give you a surprise. This year's Jianghu Fengyun list has been released. However, this year, there is an additional list, which is the Red Beauty list. It only records women's looks, not their background. All the records on the list are stunning beauties. Oh. Hurry up and tell me, don't make any fuss. Let me take my time to talk. The fourth-ranked girl on the beauty chart must be known by everyone, and that's the purple Yuan girl from our Yuzhou city. I'll just say it. Miss Cun is truly beautiful, and it's not an exaggeration to say she's the most beautiful woman in the world. Oh, no, why is there anyone ahead of her? End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Demonic Energy Leakage. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Demonic Energy Leakage. Don't interrupt, Purple Kite is not the only beauty in the world. This third one is amazing, it's Princess Jiang Qingyue of Western Chu. Jiang Qingyue. Is it her? I heard that the Western Chu royal family implemented a policy of reconciliation in order to ease their relationship with our Dayan dynasty and offered her to our majesty. Ah, the beauty is hidden in the deep palace, and we people won't have a chance to see her. Who is the second one? The second one is even more amazing, our national teacher Ji Xiao, the personal disciple of the land god Yuan Tiangang. Crouching Slot. The national teacher Ji Xiao is a third-level realm powerhouse in the Taoist sect. Has Qingyue Tower gone crazy? Even if such a powerful figure dares to arrange, she is not afraid that someone will collapse Qingyue Tower with one sword. What about the first place? The first and most mysterious one is the demon cult leader who can see a dragon without a tail. So the head of the demon cult is a woman. What is her name? I only know my surname Yi, but I don't know the specific name yet. Joke, since it's a divine dragon seeing the head but not the tail, isn't it that you don't know what you look like? There's a problem with this ranking. The reputation of Qingyue Tower is still reliable. Someone should have seen the leader of the demon sect, right? Li Nuo felt a bit dazed. These four beauties apart from the mysterious leader of the demon sect, he has seen all three other women, and their fate is profound. Princess Jiang Qingyue of Western Chu needs no further words. At the new imperial banquet, he offended the future imperial consort. It is said that the emperor, in a fit of anger, sent her to the cold palace, which was even more tragic than him. Not to mention Ziyuan, it's his old friend. Talk to her by candlelight, enjoy the beauty of the moon together, without the need for silver. Because having a belly full of poetry is enough to captivate purple kite fans. Who would say that the brothel women of this era are all so cultured and petty bourgeoisie? Well, learning from Senior Liu Sanbian is also a role model for us. As for the national teacher Ji Xiao, Yuan Tiangang only received 2 inheritors, and the other disciple, who was known as the Wine Sword Immortal, was known for his excellent drinking skills. Half a year ago, I traveled to Yuzhou City and was directly intoxicated by a pot of wine from him. I made a fuss about introducing my junior sister to him, so I became a family and could indulge in his liquor for free. Li Nuo was frightened and crashed on the spot. Although he has never seen the true appearance of Ji Xiao, she is in a state of 3 levels of harmony between heaven and humanity. This strong liquor was naturally secretly brewed by Li Nuo through distillation. To satisfy one's appetite. Of course, he did not promote it and seize the market. He is very clear-headed, and once this wine is pushed to the market, he will definitely be left with no bones to be eaten by those wealthy families. With his current strength, he cannot protect this incredible wealth and status. Pifu is innocent and harbors a guilty conscience. Husband, what are you thinking? Seeing Li Nuo somewhat lost in thought, Yi Jingyu curiously secretly scrutinized his destiny. The result is not good at first glance. The color of my husband's destiny, eternal love, has become a bit stronger. How could that be so? Is it because of the beauty chart? Yi Jingyu felt a bit flustered and chest tightness. Does your husband want to eliminate all the people on the list? No way. We must restrain this terrifying thought of our husband. But it seems a bit difficult to handle. Jiang Qingyue was sent to the cold palace by the emperor, but there were many skilled experts in the palace. It's not an exaggeration to say it's a dragon pond or tiger's den, and the level of danger is far greater than that of the Purgatory Tower. She, as a third-grade heavenly destiny master, can traverse the land of Kyushu, but there are 3 places she cannot break through. The northern Woody City, the western Lingshan Mountain, and the Dayan Palace. So. Ji Xiao. Yuan Tiangang, the only first-class land immortal in the Taoist sect, retired, and the Wine Sword Immortal fell. Ji Xiao became the leader of the Taoist sect, not to mention the strong third-grade heavenly man unity realm, with infinite divine powers. She was invincible in the same realm alone, and could not do it. It seems that we can only bully the flower queen, Ziyuan. If the persimmon is picked soft and pinched, then start by targeting the purple kite and use it as a warning to the chicken. As the leader of the demon cult, she will launch a fierce attack and not care whether you are innocent or not. In front of his wife, of course, he cannot think of other women. Li Noa regained his composure and said with righteous words, "What kind of list is this? My wife is the best in the world, how could she not make it on the list? It's said that the news from the Qingyue tower spreads throughout the world, but I don't think that's enough." Qingyue pursed her lips and smiled. In fact, she instructed Bai Shaoxing to secretly create this beauty list. To create momentum for her holy teachings. To cooperate with the demon tribe, in addition to rescuing the large demons suppressed at the bottom of the purgatory tower, of course, one also needs to shine on the muscles elsewhere. At this moment, an untimely voice interrupted the couple's love show. "Captain Li, I've finally found you. The magistrate, please." Several yamen runners appeared in front of Li Noa, sweating profusely, with flattering smiles on their faces. "The governor is looking for me. What's going on?" Li Noa was somewhat surprised. Qin Baitian gave him 3 days of wedding leave. Why is this prefect so ignorant? Is it the East Window incident? Not right. If that's true, then it's not these yamen runners who have come. Husband, since it's the magistrate who has something to do with you, then you should go quickly. In front of outsiders, Qingyue naturally plays the role of a virtuous wife. "I can't rest assured to leave the lady here alone." Li Noa shook his head and said. Qingyue chuckled and said, "In broad daylight, what are you worried about?" The yamen attendant quickly showed great hospitality and said, "Captain Li, just go to the yamen and have your sister-in-law personally sent back to Anhafang by a few brothers." "How about that?" "That's all I have to do." Li Noa nodded and agreed. In his heart, he cursed Qingyue from head to toe. Not long ago, Li Noa rushed into the government office. The lobby was crowded with yamen guards and constables, but the whole scene was silent and heavy-faced. This surprised Li Noa slightly. Qingyue paced back and forth, feeling extremely anxious. He didn't have a good impression of Li Noa, but he could only rely on him for this matter. So when he saw Li Noa coming, he forced a smile on his face and said, "Captain Li, I heard from Captain Qin that you are good at killing demons." Li Noa nodded and said indifferently, "Maybe it's my innate talent that has a restraining effect on the demon race." "What's wrong?" The magistrate pointed to the tall tower not far away and said, "The Purgatory Tower seems to have some problems. On the 7th floor of the infernal realm, there is a large amount of foul and evil breath leaking out, and even the connecting door has cracked, which has damaged 7 old soldiers. Infernal hell. Has a big demon escaped?" Li Noa took a deep breath of air conditioning. The magistrate smiled bitterly and said, "I don't think so. Otherwise, Yuzhou City has already turned into a human purgatory. However, I'm afraid there might be demons causing trouble. Please ask Captain Li to personally investigate, so that I can rest assured. You're waiting for me here, don't get close to the Purgatory Tower." Li Noa reminded me. He was also familiar with the Inferno, and even formed a deep friendship with a big demon inside. Of course. The bloody aura there was extremely fierce. Even if he had a golden book to protect his body, he could only stay for half an hour. Taking the token, Li Noa walked into the purgatory alone and quickly arrived at the 7th level passage. A deep sword mark appeared on the forbidden stone door, and a trace of evil energy continuously seeped out from here. Li Noa took a deep breath of air conditioning. Who the hell is it that wants to use brute force to break through the restrictions of the Purgatory Tower, and almost succeeded? Retracting his gaze, Li Noa opened the channel with a purgatory token and entered alone. Inside, a violent and impure aura of blood and evil arose, as if it was about to devour him. And he could also clearly feel that his inner demons were rapidly growing, and in no time, he would become possessed and lose his mind. At this moment, the golden book in his mind turned into reality, casting a sky full of golden light to protect his mind. Li Noa squinted his eyes, his gaze piercing through the thick mist, and it was obvious that one of the prisons was somewhat unusual. End of this chapter.